Hi, welcome back to Dow Twang. I'm Dave. We've got a little chicken picking action today. Should be fun. I put it in that 12 bar format because just when you learn anything, it's good to just put it into a layout like that, right? And the 12 bar, the 145 stuff is just such a good way to fit so many things in. And so you get used to, switching to another chord and then going back to the riff and so forth. So the riff is over the A, okay, like the one chord in the 12 bar pattern. And if you notice in that intro, when I went to any of the other chords, the D7 and the E7 in the 12 bar arrangement, I just played the chords, right? So I'd go. When it was time to go to the 4 chord, I go. Okay, just wanted to mention that first of all because it's already kind of laid out. You don't have to kind of go measure by measure like that, right? So over the A, we're using the lick that is really the feature of this today. And I encourage you, as always, to take what you see on this channel and work it into your own stuff and your own style. That's what I do from years of playing with other players, and I've had the benefit of many times being around players that were more advanced than myself, and so as bad as I wanted to cop some of those licks just right, I would take away what I could, and then I would integrate it into my style, and that's turned into something that's really fun and has turned out to be somewhat of a successful method for me, right? And kind of getting into an economy of how I spent my time practicing in my later developing years. Now I'm kind of at another plateau where I'm kind of showing you all what I know and what I do, right? And most of my efforts go into that. But I still learn things. But, when I was really going after information and consuming it, um, especially a little bit in the middle of my guitar life, that's what I was doing. I really got used to having accepting a certain level of accomplishment with certain things, and then kind of going right into how can I make my own music with this? That's just a side thought for you. So it's not a disclaimer that we're not playing things technically correct or whatever, right? It's just, everybody that's out there watching this that learns this lick, it's going to sound different. And that's the cool thing about all of this. So here we go. We're going to do a very little bit of counting here. Basically just counting ourselves in. Okay, so if we're in 4, I didn't have my mic on earlier, or you would have heard me go 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, right? I guess I could have tapped on my strings or something. I don't know. I didn't think of that. But if we're in 4, we want to count in and come in right on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that first note on the downbeat, beat 1, is the open A string. That's why you see this stuff demonstrated in A so much, and E. It's just something where you have an open string. It just adds a vibe to it. Okay, we're just going to jump right in here. So here's the lick slow all the way across. And there's different versions at the end of it. You don't have to, that wasn't something I planned. Here's the main piece. Kind of missed that one, didn't I? Here we go. Okay, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how I hit that open A again after that hammer? Now the hammer is just barring these 3 strings. You don't have to hit them all. Depends on what you pluck down here. I'm probably plucking most of the time the D and the G. but the good news is it doesn't really matter which ones you grab as long as you get that hammer in there and you've got that kind of, sealed off there. But that's the main thing that you're hearing in my version. Okay, so I'm picking, and then I'm using these two fingers to play the D and the G string. Okay, then I play that open A again, and I bar the 7th fret, the same strings. For some of you, that's your routine right now, just for today, right? It's just that groove. You don't have to count it all out like that if it bugs you. But notice how the reason I count it out loud is I'm leaving space for it to come back down on that downbeat. In that version, right? In the continuous version, through the lick, it would go. Okay. Now, I guess here you need a little bit more deliberate focus on those strings because I'm hammering on the G and the B. So I'm going from this shape to, right, the notes are E and G, if you want to look at it that way. Okay. And then back to that. All right, slow it down. Okay, and for many of you, that will be the chunk that makes sense for you to practice and isolate there. Okay, let yourself experiment with this. Don't try to control you can. It depends on your learning style. If you want to count out every beat and do it that way, you can do that. And you can do that kind of with your own methods. But try to kind of let yourself go and just slow it down until you feel that wheel start to turn, start to roll. Okay, so now I got to get back up to speed because sometimes when you slow things down like that, kind of, it sort of starts to escape me like what it really sounds like. But this is how you get there. You need to slow it down. Now, this part's fun, and it's not as, hard as it might sound like when somebody plays it real fast, because it's kind of the blues scale. It's kind of, it is right down the minor pentatonic. So it's. That's right down the blues scale, right? But you play an open A after those notes. That's from 3 to 4 there. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this. That's the way I did it mostly in the demo. Sorry, see, when I go that slow, it's easy to lose track of it. Now, most of of the time in that demo, it could be the second or third fret. I don't want to confuse you. It's just you're going to see this done differently and do it differently. That's like a major pentatonic, kind of sound. You know, and that's like a flat seven, like of the A. If you go 0-3 to the A, this is the kind of stuff you don't want to get hung up on. You learn the lick, and then you allow yourself to trust your own ear for these finishing touches. That time I went 0-2. You're like, oh, it has to be one or the other because it has to be in the right scale. Nope. I mean, we could have another discussion about that. Short interest. No, it doesn't have to be in a certain scale. It's a sound, right? So, mess around with that stuff. You could even go. There, I slid it from 3 to 4. Or you could do more of like the footloose thing, where I slid it to the note that is A and played an open A, right? See, I'm not going to get caught up in that anymore, but that's a good example of how do not stop when you're doing stuff like this and get caught up in like, am I on the right scale? Does this theoretically make sense? Trust me, the people that came up with these licks, they're not thinking about that. Okay, that's kind of it. That's the lick. Then, you could just kind of break it off however you want and get up to that 4 chord. This is so much fun. I really hope you enjoy it. Nope. For most of us, using these forms of seventh chords and stuff, if you're not familiar with that, that's cool too. Don't always want to presume that, some of this stuff is our knowledge and skills that everybody already possesses. But just so you know, those are dominant seventh chords for the D and the E. If you need to look something up about those shapes and stuff, you can do that too. All part of the self-teaching. If I went into every little aspect of every little thing that we talk about on here, we wouldn't get a whole lot done, right? That's what individual lessons are about, right? Where it's tailored to exactly where you are and what you need to be talking about each step of the way, okay? If you're interested in that, give me a shout. Depending on when you're watching this, I know it doesn't make sense to make announcements about certain times of things because people watch this stuff for, months or years at different times. But right now it's July 31st, 24, and we are moving next week. I'm taking the whole week off. So, to get everything moved and set up, and it's a couple of hours from where we are now, and it's a big deal. But the next time you see me, I should be set up in the new place, and we're really excited about it. Hope to see you there soon. Enjoy this. Leave me some comments. Know how you're doing with everything. Hope you're having a wonderful and safe summer out there with your families and doing the things that you love and making lots of music and having lots of good times. I'll talk to you soon.